On today's episode, I'm going to show you how to install LED lights on your vehicle, either a bull bar or just in the vehicle itself, and how to do it properly. So stay tuned. Alright guys, let me first start off by showing you the lights I got. They are 18 watt LED lights, and the reason why I got these is I needed some fog lights for the bull bar, and these will work out perfect without draining too much from my juice on my battery. Plus they come with a 2-year warranty, and their reviews look to be pretty good, so I have high hopes for them. Now the other item I purchased for the lights is the all-important wiring harness kit. This is from the same manufacturer, and it comes with the same 2-year warranty, which is awesome. Granted, yes, it is another $10 that you had to add on to the price, but it's well worth it if you want to do things right. And what I mean by that is it comes with fuses, so just in case it becomes overloaded, it won't start a fire, which is always good. And it comes with an awesome little on and off switch. So I definitely recommend getting this. Alright, let me show you the contents of the actual boxes. Here's the lights, and they just come with a little bit of wire here and the ends. And then you have your mounting hardware that goes on the bar, in my case. And of course, no instruction manual, just this handy dandy little thank you for choosing Nightlight pamphlet. But it does say that you get the 2-year warranty of the product. So, yay. And then the wiring harness. And that comes with your nice little on and off switch, the relay, and there's where some fuses go, and the other ends to the lights, and then you get the actual fuses, and you actually get the instruction manual, yay, which is actually pretty decent, and it shows you exactly how to do this. So let's go going to my vehicle and I will put it in. Alright guys, we're here at my truck, and the first thing we want to do is get into the engine compartment, and let's be safe and disconnect the battery. Of course, the negative first, then the positive. And the reason I did both, I took off the negative and the positive, is because I'm going to use tap into these to put my stuff on instead of putting it actually on the post itself. So it just makes it easier when it's off, because I'm going to undo these nuts here. And then when you're taking off the negative side of the battery, make sure you wrap it with some type of paper or something like that, or up out of the way, so it doesn't accidentally fall down and ground out on something. That's an important step. Alright, so after doing that, let's find a home for this relay in the spot in the car here. So I'm going to get it somewhere close to the battery, but somewhere where it's up out of the way, and it won't interfere with anything in here, obviously. So for my choice here in the Ridgeline, there's a spot right up in here that already has mounted holes. I don't know if you can see the holes there, but this is where I'm going to mount mine, because there's nothing over here. This is the brake reservoir here and the master cylinder, and there's really nothing in here that's going to impede it. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the relay. So I'm just going to mount it up here when I get two hands here after I'm done here, and the wiring will be long enough here, and this is the wiring with the inline fuse to go right to the battery. So that'll be a perfect spot. So I'm going to go ahead and mount that up there, put these two wires on the adjoining spots here where they're supposed to go. And then I will check in with you here in just a second. Alright guys, now I'm done with that, and there's just one little change of plans. Instead of sticking it up here, I actually put it down over here because it wasn't long enough to reach the destination that I needed to. So, and you can see I attached them to these little spots here on the mounting posts, and it'll be the same for this one. I've got it wrapped because I don't want it touching anything, but just like that, same thing right there. And our next step, after I get this wrapped up, is going to be to route our button here, the turn on button, into the firewall. And I believe I'm going to go see if I can get down in here. Oh, it's kind of a pain. I don't kind of have to turn you sideways here. But there's a spot right down in here in the firewall. Right here, there's a rubber spot. And if you peel this back, which I've already done, you can go right through the firewall and into your dash area where you need to mount this. And I'll show you where I'm going to mount it here in just a second after I push the wires through. Okay, so we went through the back side of the dash here. So I'm at the dash, and then I'm going to go underneath where your foot goes. And you'll see, it's hard to get underneath here, but it came through right up here where I'm pointing, and sorry it's hard to see, but right there, that's the entrance to my firewall. And this is the cable that I brought through. I'm going to go ahead and try to set it going up into here. See if you can see that, up along here and around by the emergency brake here, and on the back side. And I'm going to set it in this nice convenient spot right here. Alright, I was able to get it in there. Let me put the light down, and what I did was take my handy dandy little screwdriver right here, and pop it in there, in between the grooves there, pop it out, and it's held in by a couple of clips like this, and it just pops right out. Then I took my drill with a nice big drill bit, and of course the first step is I took a smaller drill bit and made a pilot hole, and then took the bigger drill bit and made the final hole, which was large enough to fit this in. And there you go. And then just make sure that when you're done doing that, that you come underneath here and you tidy everything up and make sure that everything is zip tied, and you put electrical tape around there to make sure that nothing's going to be impeding against the brakes or the your emergency brake line right there. And I know mine looks like a mess because right here somebody put a aftermarket security system in and just got nuts. So I'm gonna have to, for a later video, fix that all up. But I came and zip tied the line. Sorry, where's my hand there? Zip tied the line to a couple of spots that were from the factory, and made sure that it was not going to be going anywhere and impeding anything. So let's move on to the engine bay and go from there. Okay, and now that we're in the engine bay, the next step is to grab this stuff right here, which is the lines to the lights for the bull bar itself. And there's that other one right there. And that has to be ran down, probably along the radiator. I think that's what I'm going to do. Down through some holes down there. And then I'm going to either come out down below here. Get that out of the way. I was laying on that. Down below here. And like somewhere around here, and come out and go to the light bar spot, which are right there and right there on my bull bar. Or I'll come through, I don't know if you can see that right here, but there's a little opening right down there. So I'll pick a spot. It's whatever you feel comfortable with, and whatever looks good and doesn't impede, sticking out right around here where you're like, wow, boy, you got a bunch of wires in there. Okay, I decided to run it from the spot where I had mounted the relay underneath the air intake here and down under the battery box. And then, of course, I have a whole bunch of zip ties here because I don't like my wires to be loose, and that's a good idea. And then along the frame here, and then down through the radiator, like I had said. And I put this protective wire protector on here on this spot because it's the metal right here, and I didn't want it rubbing. And it's this stuff right here, and it's a good idea to get some, because you definitely don't want your wires rubbing and possibly causing a short. So then came back over here. This is the front grill area, and I had to take the grill off, which kind of sucked, but oh well, it's not a big deal. And ran it down here, and this isn't the greatest. I might fix this a little bit, but it's not going anywhere. I zip tied it. It's not going to hurt anything. Ran it down, and then, like I said, it comes through the bottom here, and I've got plenty of wire. And of course that side running down through there. So now all I have to do is grab the lights. Let me sit back here. Grab the lights, take off this little protective covering right here, put them in there, and then we can plug these in and then tie up some loose ends. So let me grab the lights here real fast. All right, here are my lights, and all I have to do is install these little guys, which are for these to be plugged into. Install these on these ends right here, and I'm going to go ahead and solder them. You can use any type of joining technique that you like. Soldering to me is the best because it ensures a proper connection, but like I said, you can use those little small little connectors that crimp on, or whatever you like. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll skip the step of you showing you that because unless you need to see that, and I have other videos that show how to do that. So we'll get that going, and once I do that, then I'll take my mounting hardware right here and mount those on there, hook that up. Just got everything all soldered up, and there are the connections there, and it's basically just plugging them in. And so they're loose right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to test it real fast before we start to mount them on the actual bar itself, because I don't want to mount them and then have something wrong and have to go back. So I did connect the battery up right there, and then let's go ahead and hit the almighty button right there, and hopefully we have power. Oh yes, we've got power, yay! So it does light up. And then let's see what we got. All right, we've got power, yay! Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to mount these on here, and I had already mounted them on the bar there, but actually I have to put 2 nuts on each side to secure them in there. And then I'm going to use more of this wrapping for the wires to make sure that anything that's exposed back here is going to be safe from water intrusion or anything like that. And obviously these connections, I don't want them getting any water or moisture in there. So I'm going to wrap this stuff up really tight and then show you guys the result there, and then come back in here and do the same with some of these connections here, wrapping them up and making everything look nice and neat. And then like I said, I'll come back and show you, and that is it. We are done. Alright, I wrapped up the last little bit with tape, made sure all my connections were good, and more zip ties, yay! All those are good. There's the front there, dressed everything up. Nothing's hanging out, battery's all connected. I did test the lights to make sure they worked. Here's what they look like in the front there. Excuse the nice little towel there, but that's what they look like on the front. And you will have to make sure that they're pointed in the right direction. Mine are fog lights, so I have them down just slightly so it doesn't blind people. But yeah, you're gonna have to check that out. But see on the back side here, I made sure that you really can't tell. See, there's the wiring, and it's going down underneath there. And on this side, same thing. I have it so it's nice and clean and dressed up, and it's just right underneath there. So from the front and on the top there, you really can't tell that it's there. That was my goal, so it looks good.